Subnautica. The game that one of my favorite games. And I'm gonna be explaining, how to start a survival game. Because Below Zero, the long-awaited sequel, is gonna be coming out in about a month. And if you want to play the game before it comes out, you might want some tips and tricks on how to get the game started. So that's what this is. So first, we're going to sit on the very long loading screen because this is PS4. And the game does not like PS4. You have like 10 seconds, it's done loading. You have 10 minutes, it's done loading on PS4. You have game running great. You catch a fish, game crashes. It's not like optimized that well on PS4, but Below Zero should hopefully work better. It was working fine, but then one day it just started getting really laggy and crashy. I don't know what caused it. Oh, man, that was fast. I guess it was...
Attention. Hull failure imminent. All personnel abandon ship. Launch in 3, 2, 1.
So, for a bit of background, this is the planet 4546b. Our ship that we were just on, the Aurora, has just crash landed. So we hopped in the flight pod and we hopped out. Now the unique thing about Planet 4546b, and the main part of the game, is that like 99.999% of the planet's surface is water. So our life pod's on fire. Put out the fire. That's the fire, right? Yes. Okay. We're booting up our PDA in emergency mode, of course.
You have suffered minor head trauma. This is considered an optimal outcome.
This is our inventory. We have a fire
rebooted in emergency mode with one directive: to keep you alive on an alien world. Please refer to the databank for detailed survival advice. Good luck.
So we're gonna start by just using that first aid kit just to get back that little bit of health that we've lost, eating a nutrient block, and drinking some filtered water. Now we're gonna exit the escape pod. Now this is going to be a full playthrough of the game. You're going to actually discover the game yourself. This is just a... Let's grab these whole fish, because free food. But we're not going to cook them right away, because after you cook a fish, it will, it'll start rotting. But uncooked fish never rot, and that's just science. See, there's another fish that just looks kind of weird, and you're going to want to cook it into food when you're hungry like the other ones. But bladderfish are not like the other fish. They're much more important to your survival because of one main factor. If we head to our fabricator here, we can turn them into water. Now, as you can see in the description, this water is non-vegetarian, because it's fish water. But that is our fish water. We can cook these whole fish. Never cook a bladderfish. If you cook a bladderfish, you just no. Never cook a bladderfish. So we don't really have too much going for us right now. But now we have some water, and we're gonna grab some titanium in the form of 2 metal salvage, because that should be a good number. We don't need too much. So our first one's an outcrop titanium. Interesting fun fact, the first 2 outcroppings that you break are guaranteed to give you a copper and a titanium, so the next one is guaranteed to give me a copper. If I can find it. Just find... finding outcroppings.
Oxygen.
And you may have noticed that we also have an oxygen bar. And right now, we don't really have too much oxygen. We're just like holding our breath.
Copper is an essential component of all powered equipment. Your probability of survival has just increased to unlikely, but plausible.
We're not gonna go too far to a
deposits
cave.
in the local cave systems.
I don't have the
Sulfur
caves
is an
memorized.
essential component of the repair tool.
You could get some sandstone early on, some sandstone outcroppings early on by going into the caves. But there's also crash fish, and I don't like crash fish. No one likes crash fish. They're subnautica creepers, except they're really fast and they just fly at you going, and then they blow up. So if you're in a cave and then you hear, it's a crash fish. So we're gonna make ourselves an O2 tank, and that's really it for now. But we've definitely advanced. Then we're gonna get 2 acid mushrooms, because these are acid mushrooms. And 2 acid mushrooms and a battery. And copper makes a battery. Because, you know, they're acid mushrooms. And we're gonna want a battery to make something very important.
New blueprint acquired.
Scanner. Just battery and titanium, you know, nothing too special, but it's like the most important tool in the game.
And to record alien
You could use it to
data.
unlock lore and stuff by scanning creatures and stuff, but what its main use is at the moment is we're gonna want to find some fragments. Now this is the creep vine. It's a biome that can have, you know, some hostile creatures. You know, your first like predators you'll encounter will be here. They're just stalkers. They aren't really anything too crazy. You know, it's just like go vehicle act. There we go. Just grab some seed clusters.
Acquired.
Oh, someone's asking me to help them get started.
Life
Got it,
on
though.
this planet grows in unusually distinct and diverse ecological biomes.
Ooh, I saw a sandstone
Further
outcropping.
study recommended.
Another benefit to going to the creep vine is you can find yourself some sandstone outcroppings, which is the next tier. You're gonna need to break those to get the higher tier stuff, you know, the better gear. But now that we have those creep vine seed clusters, you can turn them into 2 things. You can either turn 1 seed cluster into 2 silicon rubbers, or into 1 lubricant. So we're just gonna want to turn that into some silicon rubber, and I'm going to quickly, you should like pause the video. Funny thing is, you asked me to help you get started in Subnautica as I'm recording a video about how to get started in Subnautica. So I'm here like, okay, so the next step is that you're gonna want to go find some limestone outcroppings to craft stuff, and then you just go, can you help me get started in Subnautica? And I'm like, eh. But using our silicon rubber that we just got, we can make a survival knife and some fins. This is going to help us move faster and also have night.
Standard survival blueprints following the massacre on Abraxas Prime. The knife remains the only exception.
I'll help you after I'm done recording this video. You could just be here with the video, I guess. Now we're gonna want to head into a cave. And you might be thinking, but you just said to avoid the caves because of the crash fish. Well, now we're going into the caves for the crash fish. Hello? Where are the crash fish? Oh, there's a crash fish. Nope, that's just a limestone. I guess this has no crash fish. Interesting. But we will need to find a crash fish because the crash fish, they live inside sulfur plants. They have a symbiotic relationship with it. And we're gonna need them to jump out of the plant, chase after us, and then explode so that we could go get the sulfur inside. This is going to be very important. Oh, yep. Now, we are not fast enough to outrun, but we can stay a safe enough distance away, not really take too much damage. Head over to the open sulfur plant and pick up the cave sulfur. Let's just scan the sulfur plant while we're here. Get some lore. You know, learn about their biology. even though that doesn't really help, but yeah, you know, there's scary fish and stuff. But now that we have cave sulfur, we're gonna head back to our life pod. After getting 2 acid mushrooms, that's a rabbit ray egg. Don't bother with the creature eggs until you have an alien containment unit, because then you can hatch them and have little pets, but until then, they're just a waste of space. So now we're going to be returning to our life pod, which is, oh man, I forgot just how slow you move at the beginning of the game. But I'm going to want to board our escape pod, go to the fabricator. Step 1 is going to be make a battery. Then it's going to be, new stuff. Okay. Now we're going to want to make the repair tool. Look at this, we're already making the repair tool. We're so good. Now that you have the repair tool, you can just magically fix your life pod, because this is the most epic tool ever. Look at that, just fixing. Once you fix that, you get, you get lights, which is nice, and then you can repair the radio. Now, this game is all about exploration, but you also get stuff from the... Now, if you repair it and then play the message immediately, you get 2 stuff playing. You get the thing that's saying that it's fixed and the first thing playing over each other, which is really funny, and I try to avoid it, but I never do. Yes, I know I can craft those. There we go. Okay. So now, next up, we're going to want to make the high-capacity O2 tank. We just need 2 glass. That's going to be pretty easy. Now, in order to make glass, you need 2 quartz. So we should have been collecting quartz this whole time, but that's fine. Where's the quartz? I can't find any quartz. Oh man. See how dark it is at night. Now that sound, well, it isn't a scary sound. I guess if you don't know what it is, it could be a scary sound, but it's just a gasopod. Just that guy. That's quartz, right? Nope, that's just right. Okay, where is all the quartz?
Radiation levels. Trend is consistent with damage to the Aurora's drive core.
Quartz usually isn't a thing that's hard to find. It's usually easier to find at night too, because it glows. Oh man, I want light. Oh, we're in the creep vine now? Okay. Well, I didn't notice because it's pitch black. Man. We're gonna just... Yeah. But... right now our goal is just... Oh wait, actually we're kind of thirsty, so let's drink some of our fish water. Perfect. That's a wall. Oh man, I forgot just how dark the game is. Well, I guess while we're looking for quartz and pitch black darkness, crash fish are here, by the way. That's a crash fish egg, wherever we can't hatch it. So while we're gathering quartz, I'll explain the game a bit. Subnautica is a game where you're stranded on planet 4546b, and your goal is just to survive. Exploration game, so you're just exploring this planet, finding cool stuff, and it's a great experience. But it can be a bit hard to figure out how to start. So that's why I'm making this video, because I feel like a lot of people are going to be picking up the game since Below Zero is coming out in about a month. And I thought there's definitely a crash fish in here. But anyway, we just need 1 more quartz. We found some sandstone outcroppings, which is good. They're like kind of rare and like hidden deep within caves here at the safe shallows, which, as you can probably tell from the name, is the starting biome and is safe. Like, the only thing here that can hurt you is if you're dumb near a gasopod, if you somehow drown in the safe shallows, or if a crash fish blows you up, which is something that doesn't really happen. Now, we probably would have found the quartz already if it was daytime and I could find... We found quartz! And probably a crash fish. Unless this is the one that we already activated the crash fish. I don't know. We're going to grab some extra quartz for now. And we're going to try to remember this place's location. Because these big tubes, there's 2 of them in the safe shallows. They have plenty of ore and lots of quartz. And they connect to other cave systems. So it's nice to be near one. Because remember, your life pod isn't going to be where mine is. Well, it might be, but there's tons of different life pod locations. You know, this is just one of them. So, we're going to make ourselves 2 glass. And a flashlight. We're not going to make the flashlight yet. And you might be thinking, it said that I didn't have an O2 tank. Well, that's because you have to unequip it. And then you can just go boop, boop, and high capacity. Once we have this, look at that 135. You're gonna have this O2 tank for a little while in this game. So it's nice to get it earlier. Okay, you know what? I think I'm gonna make that flashlight. And now we can make the free breather, a wiring kit, and fiber mesh. It's important to make that early on. In my save, I for some reason didn't make it until much later. So I'm not going to make it until much later, just because you could go make it yourself. Okay. Of course, I make the flashlight when it becomes day, but now we have the flashlight for the next night. Now, you might be thinking, well, what do we do now? We've got, like, the best O2 tank. We've got flippers. What do we do now to progress? You want to find these little wreck bits, and get out your scanner. This is where the scan, boom. If we scan one more, we'll unlock the sea glide. So now if we scan this, boom. We now can craft the sea glide, and if you scan extras, it just gives you titanium. So if you need titanium, just go scan extras of blueprints that you already have. Different biomes have different blueprints in them. So you're gonna want to go explore, find like stuff like grav trap, beacon, sea glide. Sea glide is probably the most important out of them, but still. We're gonna get some acid mushrooms because we're gonna need a battery. And another ingredient that we're gonna need for the sea glide is some lubricant, because you need lubricant to make vehicles. And the sea glide is, I guess, technically a vehicle, but it isn't too difficult. And also, once you have a knife, you could just stop drinking fish water. I'm thinking, why would I stop drinking fish water? It's pretty easy. But once you go to like the creep vine and stuff, you can just pick up some salt. And what people normally would use this for is they cure fish, so that it's like a cooked fish that doesn't rot, but it also lowers your H2O a bit, which could be nice if you don't want to have to just go and cook some fish whenever you're hungry. Or you could go find one of the giant tubes, and not the ones with ore in them. Those just kind of count as caves. What we want are, these ones. There's a few of them around. They're giant coral tubes, and if you just hit it with a knife, you'll get yourself a coral tube sample. And the reason we're going to want this is because we can now get a much better source of water than fish water with just those 2 ingredients. So you can already stop with the fish water. So first, let's make the lubricant, and also the silicone rubber, since we accidentally grabbed the second one because of lag. And then we'll make the bleach. And everybody's thinking, are we just going to drink bleach? And the answer is, pretty much. There's no other ingredients. You just go to water and bleach. I think it should be like filtered water plus bleach to make the disinfected water, but no, it's just bleach. It's just bleach in a bottle, and it gives you 2, which is nice. So we're gonna cook one of our whole fish now because we're getting kind of hungry. You want to always keep your cores topped off. You know, you don't want them to dip too far like down. And the sea glide's right here. We're just missing a copper wire, which we just need an extra copper for. But first step, you know, we're gonna go consume that whole fish. And now let's go get 1 copper. Shouldn't be too hard. Since it's day, we could just look over here and, yep, that's one of the 2 cave things. And if you don't want to go inside and, like, run from some crash fish, there's some stuff on the outside, too. Boom, copper. Now, we're going to break a few more while we're here, because the one material that you seem to always be running out of in the late game is copper. You're making batteries and stuff, and it's like, I need copper, but I've broken all of the limestone outcroppings, and then when you finally find one, it gives you titanium, you know. It's like, with stuff like the other materials, you can find them in much more biomes, but the limestone, it's mainly just in the starting biomes, since it's the starting, like, rock, but eventually you're pretty much run out of copper. So let's play our next radio message. Distress call, playing back.
This is Lifepod 3, uploading our coordinates.
We're plugging some holes in our emergency sea glide,
so if we're late for the rendezvous, don't panic. Also, don't go home without us. Seriously.
So, we're gonna make the sea glide. Now, the sea glide is probably, like, the most important thing in the game. We're gonna get the whole fish out of our hotbar by just putting it in there. Now, it does take up some inventory space, but it's definitely worth it. And we're gonna take our fish back. We're also gonna take this filtered water and drink it. Now, the reason you want the sea glide is it comes with a light that it isn't as good as the flashlight, but it's still a light, so technically you could never need to make the flashlight because you can switch through the modes. I like to use this mode because it's just a flashlight, but if you want to conserve battery, you can just have the nothing, you know, no map and no battery. That's a stalker egg. And we're already moving much faster. So now we can explore deeper because we can get to the surface faster. And we're going to go check out a bit more of the creep vine for some fragments. Now, a very, very important thing has fragments in the creep vine. Probably like one of the most important things in the game. It's the mobile vehicle bay. The mobile vehicle bay is what you're going to use to make all your vehicles. If you're playing on PlayStation, remember to save every now and again because the game can lag a bit and sometimes just randomly crash and the game doesn't auto-save, so that was on PlayStation. We're going to just be looking around for crates and stuff. If you see sandstone, if you see outcroppings, we're going to break them because, you know, we're at the beginning of the game. Right now, we're just gathering some ores and stuff. And boom, here's a crate. Now, you can find wrecks and also these crates. This is where you're going to find fragments, sometimes just on the ground from other stuff, but we're going to need to scan 3 mobile vehicle bay fragments, and once we get that, I'm going to end this. This is going to be a 2-part series. We're going to have this part, which is like first getting started, the second part, which is kind of getting a bit further, like building a base and getting a sea moth. And then after that, I'm going to just let you go and discover the rest of the game on your own. So first, let's get the mobile vehicle bay unlocked.
30 seconds.
You know, it might say 30 seconds, but you don't gotta be too spooked because it's still 30 seconds, which is a decent amount of time, and we're close to the surface. But, you can still play it safe and go up whenever it says something like 30 seconds. Now, we didn't fill it up completely there, but that's fine, because, you know, that's not our goal. Another cool thing about the creep vines, that's home to probably, like, the cutest, like, non-cuddle fish in the game. The hoverfish. I love it. Hey there, stalker. Don't be scared of the stalkers. When I first played, it took me a while to get the courage to go here because of the stalkers. Also, grassy plateau. This is where you're mainly going to go if you want quartz or, you know, sandstone stuff. And also, sea moth fragments are here, and sea moth is very important. But there's some little fighters that fly around, which are those guys. They don't deal much damage, but they're annoying. There's also sand sharks. Don't be scared of them. They are very bad at turning because of how their body works. You know, it's like their stuff. So don't be too scared of the sand sharks. And even if something happens and you want to kill it, they don't have too much health, so a knife can kill them. And it won't be extremely difficult. So we're gonna just unlock the mobile vehicle bay and then end this video. This is gonna be part 1 of, you know, getting started in Subnautica. You know, the next one's gonna be getting a bit further, but hey, Mr. Stalker boy, no. No. As you can see, don't be afraid of the stalkers. After you just swim circles around them for a bit, they'll just decide, I don't care. And they also kind of roar when they start charging at you. So it's hard for them to take you off guard. And if they do, they don't even deal that much damage. So now that we've unlocked the mobile vehicle bay, we're going to return to our base and end this guide because I don't want it to get too long. You know, I'm probably going to end it. It's going to be like 10 hours long. That always happens with me. Now, once you're in places like the grassy plateau at this stage of the game, that's when the 30 seconds is actually a spot where you can start going up, because some spots there are a bit deep, and your sea glide is going to be very useful for just kind of going straight up. I'm going to play a message on our radio. Call.
This is Ozzy from the cafeteria. What the hell, guys? They didn't want us. This might happen.
So, you also, after you, like, at first these menus might seem confusing, but after you play the game for a bit, you'll kind of learn them. So, titanium ingot, lubricant, power cell, might seem tough, but we don't even need it right now. So, we're gonna just head to our storage container, put some stuff in there, like this lead, you know, maybe this quartz, some of our titanium, silicon rubber, gold, silver. Let's put the copper in there in case we die, because if you die, you lose some objects from your inventory. I mean, just want to be sure that we don't lose that copper, because for some reason later in the game it's a really annoying material. So I'm gonna go eat our other whole fish and end the video here. So when Subnautica Below Zero comes out, I will be doing a series on it, and it's probably going to be a series of live streams so I can play the game for extended periods of time without having to worry about ending the videos or make sure the videos aren't too long. So, you could be looking forward to that. It's going to be coming out next month. So, I know I don't upload much, but I'm going to try. Also, if you use the top ladder, the first time there's this little animation with the bird. So, I guess I'll see you next time. I wonder if I can time this. I'll see you next time. I forgot the triangles. Let me do, I gotta do the cool outro, guys, okay? I gotta do the cool outro. I'll see you next time.